Officially call the meeting to order. It's 4:04 on Wednesday, August 13th. We do have a quorum with four commissioners present, and we will start with the minutes from the July meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve, or if there's any adjustments, corrections to those minutes. I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those are approved 4-0, and we will move on to the reports.
Okay, so in front of you, you actually have your normal 1 month at a time, as well as the first 6 months of the year. So we're gonna go over June 1st, not June 1st, the date, but initially. So we're, for the month of June, compared to 2024, to this year's 2025, if you're looking at your total domestics, we did see an increase of 7.6%, and our overall intakes were up by 8.9%, so we are on track to meet or surpass 2024's numbers if we continue the way we're going. Our overall outcomes, when we're looking at adoptions, rescue, and community cats, we did see an increase of 10%. Which is great. And then our return to owners was down slightly by 3%, so nothing huge for the month of June, but just 4 less animals got claimed. When we're looking at our foster animals, we had 160 in the month of June compared to last year's 115, so it was up by 39%. A slight dip in our activities. I did want to highlight obviously our state cases. We submitted 3 more in the month of June. Last year we didn't submit any, not that there weren't any potential cases, there just weren't any submitted to the prosecutor's office last year at this time. And then of course your overall balance of your animal care fund compared to last year's $814,000, you had $1,236,000. 6 months is a better snapshot and prediction of what's going to happen by end of year. So when we're comparing 2024 to 2025, as I mentioned, for the month of June, we are on track to take in the same, if not more, animals this year than last year. So overall domestics, we've already taken in through the end of June 5,030 animals compared to last year's 5,011. So just a slight increase. Total intakes, including wildlife, we had 5,438 this year compared to last year's 5,424. Our animal outcomes, adoptions, we are down about just under 15%, which according to national standards is actually the same. They're overall statistically, adoptions are down. Rescues and transfers, we did see an increase, which is great. We were hoping to see that. So we have 36% more this year compared to last year's. And then community cats were about the same, just 20 less animals we were able to process this year compared to last. Overall outcomes, we had a negative 5%, so they were slightly down compared to last year. And again, our return to owners is also down just under 10%. Less people claiming their animals. Our shelter euthanasia is up by 6%, or just under 7%, I should say. Cat euthanasias are just under 12% increase compared to last year's. And then our overall fosters, which actually surprised me, because if you ask the foster team, I'm sure they would argue. But 2025 so far, by the end of June, we had 620 go out and foster compared to last year's 718. So slightly down, so just under 14%.
We do have, just add to that, we do have more currently in foster at this point than we did last year, so it seems like it's just shifting.
Yes, and I have noticed our daily snapshot gives me a census of how many animals are currently in the building, how many are out in foster, and what happened to them per day. And I noticed a jump from June to July. So we're back in the 200s again for August already. So I'm assuming that we're gonna see that. And I do know that we were noticing that the foster kittens that we were getting just weren't as healthy. So we usually see that in the fall. We were actually seeing it earlier in the year. So it was kind of putting a tax on our medical team to try to figure out why there were so many issues already. And that could be a variety of things. You know, mom wasn't in great shape, she wasn't that healthy, she didn't have good antibodies, she was never vaccinated, you know, all the things, right? So, but we normally don't see that type of illness in our kittens until the fall. So we just saw it earlier this year, which was different. Okay, cases submitted. I went over this, I believe, last meeting. If not, it was the meeting before that. Total cases submitted so far this year by the end of June was 23 cases to the prosecutor's office compared to last year's 17. So we are still packaging those cases. It's been crazy. And I did like seeing, just if you go a little bit further up, our bite cases overall, just under 6% decrease. So we want to see that, though we are seeing more substantial bites. So even though they're down, the injuries are substantial when they are happening. So that's kind of where we're at, but we are on track to take in probably 11,000 animals again for 2025, which is not the direction we want to go.
Thank you for that information. Any questions, comments, thoughts regarding that portion of the report? Okay, if not, we will keep moving forward and move to education.
Okay, so we survived another year of summer camp, yay. We received a few emails from parents even that said that the camp went well and that their campers loved it and wanted to come next year, so that's awesome. I shared those with Delaney and Amy Jo, or at least a few of them. We did have 92 campers in total and raised a little over $15,000. We do have a humane education intern, which I'm guessing Amy Jo might mention later, but she has been officially hired and starting this week. So she'll be helping with classroom visits, and we'll be able to push a little bit more to be able to do those because it's been pretty hard to do previously with Delaney and I's schedule. She'll also be helping with some of our outreach events because we've been getting invited to a lot of those, and then she'll also be helping with like social media stuff. This will also be mentioned later, but Delaney is actually at Black Forest Cat Cafe right now, celebrating their 1,000th pet adoption. So they should be hitting that today, because Wednesdays is when they typically send the animals home. And we're hoping to be there when they actually have their 1,000. This weekend, we're going to be at the Tales of Treats Carnival on Saturday, Open Streets on Sunday, and we have more fundraisers coming up. So we've been busy in our department for sure. We also will most likely be receiving school visit requests very soon since school is just now starting. And then Delaney and I will also be attending the Midwest Humane Education Workshop in Michigan next month. It's a free workshop that they're doing. It's part of the APHE thing that I went to a few months ago. They are now trying to do regional ones. So it's a free opportunity, not too far away. So I wanted to make sure Delaney could come as well. And Sophia and I did register for our first meeting with Bloomerang, so you guys had approved that last meeting, and we're working our way into that. And that's all that I have, but Sophia has her part.
I sure do. So starting off with just a recent update, we worked with Big B Coffee over at Georgetown to do a little mini fundraiser. We expect to receive about $725 from them, so a nice little bump for the month. Looking ahead, we have our Pause and Run 5K on October 4th, which will benefit the Angel Fund. So shout out Amy Jo for connecting, even though she won't be able to be there. But so that's being hosted in partnership with Epic Racing Events, and so they're doing the logistics, and we're just, you know, supporting and spreading the word. Then on to Halloween on October 18th. Of course, our annual fundraiser supporting humane education and outreach. We do have a handful of sponsorships coming in, one at the $1,000 level, one at the $500 level, and then a few at the $250. So hopefully those will keep coming on in. And I do have some flyers if anyone feels interested in, you know, visiting their favorite coffee shop or restaurant and putting those on bulletin boards. And then an update on the grant side of things. We will once again be applying for the October cycle of Bissell's Empty the Shelters grant. In this past July cycle, 139 cats, 27 dogs, and 6 other animals were adopted. I recently applied for Banfield Foundation's Community Care Grant, which we hope we'll receive to cover the hard costs of flea care for individuals in the community who face, financial or transportational barriers to providing that care to their animals, and then hopefully just improve their overall quality of life and prevent them from coming to our shelter. We're also planning to apply for Petco Love Foundation's new Love Stories grant, which involves more community engagement than us really doing anything. It's the public sharing their story of how an animal adopted from our organization made a difference in their life. And then we have received some regret letters from Latham Foundation and Orphan Kitten Club. And then sharing some fun numbers. From July, direct mail revenue was $2,600. Direct mail expense was $1,554.14. Fund 437 donations were $6,770.85. Fund 438 donations were $24,795.07, with a significant gift from our new friend Bonnie Hagerman of $10,000, for a total of $31,565.92. We had 83 first-time donors and 57 recurring donors.
Awesome. Any questions, comments, thoughts, or any of those? All right, we will move on to volunteers.
All right, for June, 12,041 hours, about 66 over last year, starting to chip away at that. 156 active volunteers in the month of June, so I think that's our highest out of probably last year and then this year. So, good amount of volunteers on board. We're seeing some increased hours in off-sites, so even though we saw the adoption numbers are down, we are up for the year on off-sites, adoptions overall, so that's been good to see. Last 3 months we've been better than 2024. Had a couple returning groups, or one returning group and a couple new groups since we last talked. Amazon was back in. They've already set up a couple days for September and October as well, so they've been a great partner. They've been in quite a bit. Department of Revenue had a few people in last Friday for Indiana. They were kind of from all over the place. They helped make some cat blankets and some projects done for us, and then we had a group from Meyer in a few weeks back as well. So they were from the one on Lima, and hope to be back as well. So just a reminder, they all get tours of the shelter and everything else as we do that. And then I attended the Cass open house a couple weeks ago. So they are a group of adults with special needs. They've come in a couple times to help volunteer, and on the flip side of that, I've gone and spoke at a couple events for them, but really good partnership, really good organization. So we'll keep getting them into volunteer here as well. That's it.
Awesome. Love that last partnership you mentioned. That is a great organization.
Yeah,
so that's really cool. Yeah, love that. So, any questions, comments on the volunteer side of things? All right, we're keeping it easy for you guys today. All right, if not, I would entertain a motion to approve the reports.
So moved.
Second. All right, beautiful. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the reports are approved 4-0, and we will move on to new business.
All right, so I kept it very generic on your agenda, but I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, are either familiar or saw the news on the